Hi everyone, it's Sunday, September 11th, time for another HideNet Week in Review. I'm Vera Dordick. Once again, it was a week without any big changes in any of the main hide producing areas. In Europe, there are no real price shifts expected before Lineapel, which actually starts on September 20th. And speaking of Europe, let's start there. Editor Andrea Guolo says that prices were unchanged for the week, and that's not because of any particular strength in the market, but it's actually because everything's on hold until after the fair, and there were really few, if any, contracts to speak of being signed last week. In the UK and Ireland, things were quiet because sellers have nothing to offer, and they really won't until the end of the month. The British 36 plus ox is still at 83 to 85 cents sterling, and the Irish one is also still around 95 cents to €1 per kilo. For European bulls, it was a disappointing week. Between the lack of hides available and the caution on the part of buyers, the price ideas of the two parties are quite far apart. Consequently, Northern German bulls are unchanged at €1.10 to €1.15 per kilo for the 40 plus kilo selections. Looking at European cows, prices were flat for the latest conclusions, although most expect sellers to hike up their price requests for the fair. In the veal sector, the luxury brands are taking all of the top materials as usual, only right now those materials are in pretty short supply. In his analysis, Andrea discusses what's going on with tannery purchasing, along with the likelihood of different changes at the upcoming leather fair. Turning to the U.S., it was a short week because of the Labor Day holiday on Monday. Also, Korea was off for a holiday starting Thursday, and China's Mid-Autumn Festival started Saturday and runs through Monday. There were still no USDA export figures for the week, although they are to start again this coming week. We'll have to wait and see how they treat the missing weeks and whether and how that data will be accounted for. With regard to sales, it was again a short and relatively quiet period considering what few offers packers had. They did not issue until Wednesday. Once again, for the most part, prices looked pretty steady. Heavy Texas steers, the price was steady with sales at $25 and $26 for 62, 64 pound selections. There were also some unconfirmed reports of sales in Asia a few dollars higher. Cow sellers who saw some improvement in dairy cow sales and prices last week, well, they found it a challenge to repeat those levels this week. Slaughter for the holiday shortened week was 5% lower at 604,000. From South America, editor Ronald Guiel reports that raw material prices fell 7 cents this week to $1.76 per kilo. The reference price of TR1 also edged lower by 2 cents, down to 76 cents in dollars per square foot. Other Latin origins were again stable during the week. In other news from Brazil, the country's hide exports are still down compared to 2021. The CICB reports that August exports of hides and skins were down 17.6% compared to the same month last year, but they were actually higher by more than 21% compared to July. And in terms of square meters, August was nearly 20% below the same month in 2021, but more than 35% higher than July. So for the year to date, exports total $858.3 million, and that's nearly 7% below the same period in 2021 and more than 20% less in square meters. The footwear situation there is completely different, with exports up 35% compared to the pre-pandemic period. And even more than that, they expect growth of 18% for the second half of 2022. From elsewhere in Latin America, Argentina's footwear retail was lower in August. Chile's fashion sales, including footwear, were lower in July. Colombian clothing and footwear prices are on the rise. In Mexico, APEMEX signed a strategic alliance for training and development of workers there. In Paraguay, August cattle slaughter was almost 13% higher than in 2021. And finally, in Uruguay's leather exports are continuing to rise. So that's all we have for this week. And until next week, good night from HideNet.